that is already a discrimination. Participants in the study who saw the Asian picture believed that they had heard an accented lecturer and performed worse on a task measured lecture comprehension. Negative evaluations may reflect the prejudice rather than real issues with understanding accents. Okay? So don't judge. That's why don't judge the book by its cover. Unless you know that person very well, don't judge because of their accents, because of their English. Okay. Legal implications. Legal implications. Could you please read Roy 37?
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
In the United States, Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 prohibits discrimination based on national origin. Implying accent, however, employers may claim that the person's accent impairs their communication skills that are necessary to the effective business operation. The courts often rely on the employer's claim or use just subjective opinion when deciding whether the potential employer's action would interfere with communication or performance, without any objective proof that action was or might be a hindrance.
Hindrance.
Thank you.
So it happened in the USA. Thank you so much, Romy. It says here the title, the 7th of the Civil Rights Act. It is to prohibit the discrimination based on the national origin, implying accents. However, employers may claim that a person's accents impair their communication skills that are necessary to the effective business operation. They thought if they employed somebody or people who are not native speakers, it will affect on their business, that or she might not be a good communicator, our business be good if we have this kind of person employed. So better find a native one. So it's like that. The court often rely on the employer's claims for use judges subjective opinions when deciding whether the potential employee accent would interfere with communication or performance without any objective proof that accent might or might be a hindrance. So without knowing anything, there was no proof that it will really a hindrance, that the business will really have a problem if you employ this kind of people. But again, the courts are listening to the employers. Whatever the employers want, that matters. Okay, it's sad, but it's the truth. Okay, Beam, can you read number 28?
Kentucky highest court in the case of
Clifford.
against
Clifford
Clifford
versus
versus Commonwealth. He said a white police officer who has not seen the black defendant allegedly involved in a drug transaction would nevertheless identify him as a participant by saying that a voice on an audio tape sounded back. The police officer based this identification on the fact that the defendant was the only African American man in the room at the time of the transaction, and that an audio tape contained the voice of a man the officer said sounded back selling crack
cocaine.
to a European American information sent by the police.
See, do you understand what this problem was all about? The discrimination. I know you guys can understand it even without my explanation. It says here, in Kentucky's higher court, in the case of Clifford versus the Commonwealth, held a white police officer who had seen the black defendant allegedly involved in a drug transaction could nevertheless identify him as a participant by saying that a voice in an audio tape sounded black. It's because they heard that the accent is something from a black person or from the African. They just pointed him. It was him. He's the one. See how fair it is. By just listening to your accent, you will be held accountable for the crime that you didn't commit. The police officer based this identification on the fact that the defendant was the only African American man in the room. And at the time of the transaction, and that an audio tape contained the voice of a man, the officer said, sounded black, selling crack cocaine. Cocaine is a drug, okay? Illegal drugs to European American informant by the police. It was planted by the police, but because of your accent, you will be in jail. You will be, what is that? You will be killed because of that. See how, what is this? How weird crazy it is. Ah, okay. You are the only African American here. That voice sounded like of your accent. The end of the story. It's very shocking. This is a true story, okay? This is a true story. It in Kentucky, in the highest court. It was one of the cases there about this Clifford versus the Commonwealth. Now we have here the acting and accent. So I think I will beam. We have M29 acting and accents, please.
Yes, teacher.
Go ahead.
Actors are often called upon to speak a variety of languages other than their own. Similarly, an actor may portray a character of some nationality other than their own by adopting into the native language the phonological profile typical of the nationality to be portrayed in commonly called speaking with an accent.
All right, thank you, Beam. So it says here for the celebrities also, my dear students, like if you're an Hollywood actress or any movies that they are requiring their actors to be or to have that kind of accent. So it says that actors are often called upon to speak a variety of language other than their own. So if you want to become an actor or an actress, you should have a variety of language aside from your own native language. Similarly, an actor may portray a character of some nationality other than their own. Like, for example, your role in the movie is a Vietnamese immigrant. So you, as an actor, you should portray or you should learn how to speak like a native Japanese in order to get that role. Okay, so it says here, speaking with an accent. It's not only that we are imitating the English accent, but for the actors, they're also imitating different languages. Depends on the role that is given to them. Okay. Yeah, is your internet is that good? Let me call me. Me, number 31.
Teacher,
Yes, I can hear you, me. Go ahead.
okay. Accent may have theory of Thai association, for example, in Disney animated film, mother and father typically
Typically,
speak with a middle class American or English accent. English accent in Disney animated film are frequently employed to serve one of two purposes.
Purposes.
Purposes. Slapstick, comedy, or
Evil genius.
evil genius. Battle
Source.
needs appearance includes
Aladdin.
The Sultan and
Jafar.
Respectively, and the Lion King,
Zazu.
and Squaw,
Respectively.
among authors.
All right, thank you so much, Me. So it says your accents may have stereotypical associations. For example, in the Disney animated films, mothers and fathers typically speak with white middle-class American or English accents. English accents in Disney animated films are frequently employed to serve one or two purposes: sex comedy or evil genius. So better source needed. Examples: Aladdin, the Sultan of Jafar, respectively, and the Lion King, Zazu, and Scar, respectively, among others. So these are the stereotypical associations in accent. So, Arm, what is an accent and what is the difference between an accent and a dialect?
An accent is a way of pronouncing a language. Considering that all of us speak in distinctive ways, it is reasonable to assume that there are endless types of accents in the world. Inside a country or region, listing of the United States of America, for instance, English might be the most commonly used language. But we all agree that the way people speak in Texas has nothing to do with the way people talk on the West Coast.
Continue, Arm. Arm, please.
Okay, teacher. According to the sociolinguist definition, an accent is a manner of pronunciation peculiar to a particular individual, location, or nation, while an accent uniquely refers to how people pronounce words. A dialect is defined as a regional or social variety of a language, distinguished by pronunciation, grammar, or vocabulary. Dialects are, therefore, way closer to the concept of language than accent. In fact, to avoid the messy connotations of these two terms, many modern linguists are now using the word variety instead. The word refers to variation in the language, and it is used to group linguistic clusters in a more exacting way.
Thank you, Arm. You just read like brilliant. I just like, okay, go ahead. Thank you for that, Arm. Okay, so now we are differentiating the accent and the dialect. As you know, the accent is like more on like national. The dialect is regional. So you cannot, it says here, the way people speak in Texas has nothing to do with the people talk on the West Coast because they have entirely different accents. Okay, so as you know that accent is pronouncing a language. So considering we have all distinctive ways of speaking, and we have to assume that there are endless types of accents in the world. Okay, whether it is within your country or in your region. And here also is a manner of pronunciation peculiar to a particular individual, location, and nation. Peculiar means one of a kind. You are peculiar, means you are special. Okay, you're specially individual because you have this Thai accent. That means you are from Thailand. It represents country. It's like that. Okay. So why do people have accents? Okay, can you please read this one? Why do people have accents here?
First, it is essential to establish that there are two types of accents: a foreign accent, which occurs when we speak one language using some of the rules or sounds of another one, and our native language accent, which can be determined by our region. Determined by our region. Ethnicity or social group. In both cases, the accent comes from our living and learning
Circumstances.
When speaking a foreign language, our accent is influenced by the structure and sounds of your native language, which is why it is usually more noticeable. For example, if you are a German trying to learn English, you are likely to have trouble with the sounds found at the beginning of the word, which and this because they don't exist in German.
All right, thank you so much, Ki. So as we mentioned earlier, it says that why do people have accent? Okay, you have your own accent, I have my accent, they have their own accent. So it is essential to establish that there are two types of accents. First, a foreign accent, which occurs when we speak one language using some of the rule sounds and another one, and our native accent. So I'm telling you is when we are learning English, we're trying to adapt the native English accent, this American or British or whatever accent it is. And the second one is our own language. If you're a Thai, you have two accents to portray, English accent and your Thai accent. So, but it says here, if you are a German trying to learn English, you will likely to have trouble, as we have discussed in the beginning of this lesson, the wish and this, because they don't have what sounds and the sounds in German alphabet. So, wish will become wish. This will become this. Okay, so because it doesn't exist in German. So in short, people have different accents because they have different heritages. Okay, take note of that. We have different heritage. We're not coming from the same place, same country. We're coming from different parts of the world. Sound patterns always differ from language to language, but they can also vary within the same language as Canadian English, South African English, as many studies conclude. Even ethnicity, class, gender, sexuality, and age can all affect language usage. Okay, so I hope you understand about the English language. On number 34, can you please read which language has the most accents?
Virtually all languages have some kind of accent variation, and this is the reason why it is practically impossible to
Answer.
with question. English, for instance, being the most widely spoken language in the world, has many known accents from Australia to Canada. Even in these countries, many different accents can be found. Other languages that have a lot of accents. Undoubtedly, Mandarin, and Spanish, which also have millions of native speakers.
All right, thank you, Anne. So it says here, what language is the most accents? So virtually all languages have the same kind of variations, and that is the reason why it is practically impossible to answer this question. English, for instance, has the most widely spoken language in the world, as we know. That's why now we are learning the language. So it says here, a language has many known accents from Australia. Australia, they have their own accents. Canada, they have their own English accents. Within Australia, they are also have different accents. Within Canada, there are also many different accents. So even inside your own country, there are many different accents can be found. So other languages have a lot of accents too, just like Mandarin and Spanish. You know that Chinese, what's the population? They're like first or second most populated countries in the world. Okay, so imagine how many people speak in their native language. Now, in terms of popularity, studies have found that British is the most likable accent globally. According to the Manchester University data, 45% of respondents stated that they enjoy hearing their native language spoken by a British accent. Who would have guessed? So according to that, it's just like, oh, British accent is like likable accent globally. Oh, if you can get the British accent, that is good because that is like the standard one. Okay, if you can put it that way. All right. Is it bad to have an accent? Asama, could you read it?
Okay. An accent can be a beautiful thing, as it is a part of your identity and heritage. However, you must always access if it is getting in the way of your intelligibility. On occasion where you are trying to make yourself understood in another language, a marked accent can be an obstacle and even damage your relationship.
Second.
If your goal is to improve your communication skill so that your peer, customer, and friend always understand the important thing you have to say, you should definitely evaluate your accent and ask, can people understand me well enough for the purpose of my use of a determined language?
Determined language. Thank you, Asama. So it says here, is it bad to have an accent? You might be trying hard so much to have a better accent, but it says here, an accent can be a beautiful thing, as it is the part of your identity and heritage, as this is where you come from. However, you always assess if it is getting into the way of your intelligibility. Just like you guys, you are studying English Chinese major, but that doesn't mean that you have to stick in your accent. You have to improve yourself because you can. Okay, we understand that accent is not that important, but if you have chance to study and improve it, that's the best. On where you're trying to make yourself understood in another language, a marked accent can be obstacle and every damage to your relationships. Okay, so second one here it says, if your goal is to improve your communication skills so that your peers, or let's say your friends, your customers, or your students in the future, your friends are always understand the important things you have to say. You should definitely evaluate your accent and ask, can people understand me well enough for the purposes or the use of the determined language? So that is our purpose only for that, having a good accent. As I keep on repeating, to be understood, for the people to understand what we're talking about. That is the only reason why we have to improve our accent. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, let me read this very quick. So considering that many adults have unintelligible speech patterns that often interfere with their education, profession, and social interactions, working on the accent is regarded as a priority in language learning. After all, there is no point in managing the most complex verbs to form or vocabulary if you can't make yourself understand in a simple phone call. Okay? Should not go to the higher level of what is that? Speech patterns, pronunciation, if you cannot do the basic. Learn in the simple way first and practice. Okay, so this is one example just to understand phone call. Hello, Ivy speaking. How may I help you? You start from the basic practicing, whether you will be understood or not, before you reach to the higher topic or the difficult ones. Okay, so here, how can an accent be improved? Here, Arena, could you read? How can an accent be improved, Arena?
Accents are not fixed, which means that they can be changed and improved. For many people, it can come naturally by moving to a different country, for instance. For others, it requires a lot of commitment and hard work.
Mhm.
There are many ways for you to improve your accents. One of the best and easiest ways to do so is by listening movie, ideally with subtitles, songs, TED Talks, podcasts. Any of these resources can be very helpful. By listening, your ear understands the musicality of a language and what it should sound like, making it easier for you to grasp the small details. Then it's all about practice. Talk with native speaker, read out loud and repeat words and sentences from movies and podcasts. With dedication, you will start feeling more familiar with the desired accent and capable of replicating it.
All right, thank you so much, Arina. All right, so there are ways how to improve your accent. It says here accents are not fixed, which means we can change, improve it. So if your accent is like this time, that doesn't mean you will be like that until you die, until you get old. So other people, if you have money or if you have the resources to move into another country, then that is one good way of improving your accent. But others, like if you're just like for you as a student, it says here it requires a lot of commitment and hard work. Okay, commitment, you should be committed. If you have a goal, you should like, I have to learn it, I have to change it, I have to practice it. And hard work, of course. Everything comes with a hard work. If you do, or if you put extra effort into that, you will be what you wanted to be. Okay, don't just like, okay, whatever will be is in the song. So you should put hard work in that if you want to improve yourself. And there are many ways for you to improve your accent. It says here one of the best and easiest way to do is listening. Yes, that's true. Listening. So if you want to improve, try to avoid like watching Thai movies, listening to Thai podcasts and all. Switch everything to English. Okay, it may not be comfortable in the beginning, like it will be like strange to it, but watch movies, put the subtitles on in English, listen to songs, try to understand the meaning of the song, and then TED Talks, this is something like an inspirational talks, you can find these videos in YouTube. Podcast, anything, listen anything in podcast in English. That way, there are many resources that will be very helpful by just listening. Okay, your ear understand the musicality of the language and what it should be sound like, making it easier for you to grasp the small details. Just the details every day, constantly, you can adopt it. And then it's all about practice. Not only by just listening, you also have to practice what you are hearing, what you are watching something or what you are seeing. So talk with the native speakers. If you can get a chance, practice out loud and repeat the words and sentences. So I encourage you to get a book, English book, or just read something out loud because it's really different when you are reading by your eyes and just reading silently. You may read very fast. But if you say the words or if you speak out, it will be different. It will a little bit difficult because your tongue and all will be moving. So it is a good practice. Read out loud. And also repeat words and sentences from movies and podcasts. Like for example, you see the movie, what are you doing here? You try to repeat the sentences or the phrases in the movies and listen to yourself. You can record it and whatsoever. Then you can hear yourself, oh, I don't sound good. So you can just keep on practicing or repeating the same way. So with dedication, you will start feeling more familiar with the desired accent, capable of replicating it. Replicating means to copy the accent. So we have the last students to read here. What if accent is too difficult to learn? Arwani, are you here? What if?
Teacher.
What if accent is too difficult to learn, teacher? What should we do? Okay, please.
If after all the effort you still feel that learning a determinate accent is too tricky, you should consider taking classes or applying taking classes or applying for accent reduction training. This
Technique.
technique also known as accent neutralization can help you embrace the phonology and melodic intonation of the
Desired
language by focusing on listening and speaking exercise.
All right, thank you, Arvani. So it says here, after doing all the exercises, you watch all the English movies, you already practice everything, but still like nothing is happening. Like, oh, teacher, I can't take it anymore. It's too difficult. So it says here, you should consider taking classes or applying accent reduction training. So this is what we're doing right now. So what we're talking earlier is about if you are like doing self-study, but then you have a teacher, you can practice. There are many ways how to practice it. And then this technique is also called accent neutralization. Okay, you may not have perfect accent that you wanted to, but at least it will be neutralized. It's accentless. Okay, so why accents are important? It says here, according to Dr. Will Barras, if you adapt your speech to sound more likely the community you're engaging with, that can be a way that you fit in. So that's the reason why accents are important. This is according to Dr. Will Barras. All right, so I will give you a short break. So you can, guys, get up, stretch, drink some water, eat something for 10 minutes. That'll be okay. So this is the end of the part 1 of our lecture, the accents. So after we will discuss about the etymology. It's all about the origin of words. Okay, so break time.
Today, I'm going to give you a whirlwind tour of the United Kingdom in 20 different accents.
You watch Question Time, it's comedy. You want a wee bag with that?
It's hard to beat the Northern.
This is so rude.
At the Golden Globes, I met Jennifer Aniston.
I love you. I'm the best MC in the country. You know?
No, they're not. They are. I bet you any money they are.
I'm a massive fan of the dictionary. They're quite important things.
I'm going to match each accent with a famous person, show you a clip of them speaking, and then I'll teach you one pronunciation feature of that accent so that you can identify it more easily. I just want to take a quick moment to thank Lingoda for sponsoring this video, Continuum, where as you move through the country, accents change and evolve and join at the edges. Now, I've picked out 20 British English accents that I want to look at, but as I say, there are many, many more. We're going to start with received pronunciation, or RP as it's also known. It's an accent associated with education and privilege. Now, it doesn't have a set geographical location, but it is associated with London and the southeast of England. But as a result, you can be an RP speaker from anywhere in the UK. It was once the only accent you would hear on the BBC, and even to this day, British English dictionaries use it as their default setting. Now, I've broken it down to 3 separate varieties. Now, let's start with the Queen's English, spoken by, Her Majesty the Queen and other royalty.
You can't look down to read the speech, you have to take the speech up. Because if you did, your neck would break, it would fall off.
An emphasis is put on clarity, with every sound being articulated in its fullest form. No drop T's here, ma'am. There's a tightness in the jaw. The Queen's lips are quite close together, and the vowel sounds are articulated at the front of the mouth. One pronunciation feature that we find in the Queen's English is the use of the or sound instead of o. So the Queen says off, not off. Take your filthy shoes off. This is not an accent you'll hear far beyond the walls of Buckingham Palace, but if you're curious to hear more, then you can watch the TV series The Crown. We move on to conservative RP, which is similar to the Queen's English, but perhaps not quite as rigid and formal. Now, it's traditionally been an accent associated with positions of power. So if I think back to all the prime ministers of my time, they all have conservative RP.
Brexit help farmers in lots of ways. We'll be able to cut bureaucracy, find new markets for UK produce, lamb, beef, dairy produce, cheese overseas.
Now, one feature that divides RP and Southern accents from Northern English accents is the sound. In RP, you have and whereas in the north of England, it's just So Boris Johnson says cut, but in the north of England, that would be cooked. There's also a more modern version of RP called
All right, so break time is over. So we still have the last topic for today. So we have the accent for the first part of our lecture, and the second part is about the origins, where these English words came from. Okay, so but some of the words we already tackled from the history of English, how the words came up, who contributed it, which countries. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so let me just read it so we can get quicker. All right, so origin of words, it means the etymology. Okay, etymology is the origin of words. Words like, are you guys there? Are you guys ready? Should I continue? Students, are you there? Hello. Okay, you're still there. Okay, so let me just have this very quick before we... All right, so the etymology, or the origin of words. Words like facts are difficult to remember out of context. Remembering is greatly facilitated when you have a body of information with which associate with either a word or a fact. For a word's interesting origins of histories will help provide a context. For example, a hippopotamus is a horse, from the Greek hippos, meaning horse, and potamos, meaning river. Okay, so you have one word now. It means hippopotamus is river horse. That's the meaning of it. From the Greek hippos and horse. Greek hippos meaning horse and potamos meaning river. Indiana is called the Hoosier state and its people Hoosiers. Why? In the early days, pioneers were gruff in manner. When someone knocked at in front of the door, a pioneer's voice would often boom, "Who's here?" Instead of saying "Who's there?" it would say "Who's here?" So if you were offered a Hobson's choice, wait, now I cannot. All right. If you were offered a Hobson's choice, would you know that was meant? Thomas owned a livery stable in 17th century in England. He loved his horses, and to prevent any one horse from being overworked, he hired them out in turn. Beginnings with stall number 1, customer had to take the horses they were given. Thus, Hobson's choice means no choice at all. Okay, that is Hobson's choice. Continue. Etymology is the study of the origin of languages and is living and growing. English languages is living and growing. Although many of words have been part of our language for many years. New words are added all the time, following our various ways of language is influenced. First, derived from foreign words. So this is the origin of language, okay? It's just for you to follow. In many cases has been commonly expanded by incorporating foreign words into it, as we studied in the history of English. Many of our language has ancient Anglo-Saxon or Latin origins. Other languages will also have added to our vocabularies. Second, additions through technology and products, our words often reflect current interests, trends, and innovations. One of the most contributors to our language has been computer technology, which has created the words such as byte, monitor, and disk. So these are the additions through the technology and products. Byte, like how many bytes, okay? The monitor, which is the screen of the computer, and the disk, the small disk that you can put inside the computer. Other way new words came into our language is through the development of products. Okay, the development of products, some examples include Kleenex, Walkman, Scotch tape, Xerox, and linoleum. Okay, so these are from the product. People's name. Sometimes when a person invents or introduces something, that thing becomes associated with a person's name. The person through time is forgotten, while the name lives in our language. Example, so the person who invented that thing or who introduces something already like forgotten, but what they have contributed still exists into our lives, in the lives of the language. First word is mesmerize. Like I'm mesmerized by you. So F.A. Mesmer, an Austrian doctor and hypnotist. That's the word mesmerize came from. Mesmerize, like you are like hypnotist. Oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. I'm mesmerized. Like that. Okay, that's the word mesmerize. Second one is sideburns. An American English alteration of Burnside is coming from Ambrose E. Burnside, a Union general. So that's the word sideburns came from. Okay, words from letters. The initial names of things may actually come to replace the names. The initials become the words that represent thing, concept, or group. The following are examples of the words that develop from initials. Okay, initials. Just like TV. Actually, that is from the word tele and vision. And vision, it becomes TV. So television. The word WI, it's driving while intoxicated. Okay, next, COD. Oh, this is very common nowadays. Oh, do you have COD if you want to order products online, Shopee or Lazada and all? That is cash on delivery. The fourth one, we have ZIP. For the ZIP, we have the Zone Improvement Plan. That's where the words from the letters is the abbreviation. All right. Continue. Word histories. Words also have interesting histories. Learning the stories behind the meaning is a good way to learn those words. The following examples will give an idea of how history can affect language. First, Footman. It was once thought to bring a bad luck if a person stepped on the door threshold when entering a house. Rich people hired a servant to stand at the doors. His job was to guard against a guest stepping on the threshold. The guard became known as a footman. So that's the story of a footman. Okay, second one, the hooker. Hooker, a synonym for prostitute. The term became popular during the Civil War. The women involved were camp followers. General Fighting Joe Hooker approved their presence in order to boost the morale of his men. Actually, it is coming from General Joe Hooker. Approve, okay? It's a synonym for prostitute. So the reason for having this is to boost the morale of his and the soldiers. All right. Etymology. So it says is the study of the history of words. By the extension of the etymology of a word means origin and development throughout the history. Okay, that is the study of words, etymology. You should remember this. For languages with a long written history, etymologists make use of text and text about the language to gather knowledge about how words were used during the earlier periods, how they developed in meaning and form, when and how the entered the language. Etymologists also apply the methods of comparative linguistics to reconstruct information about forms that are too old for any information to be available. By analyzing related languages with a technique known as the comparative method, linguists can make inferences about their shared parent language, that is vocabulary. In this way, word roots in European languages, for example, can be traced all the way back to the origin of the Indo-European language family, as we have learned in the history of language. Even though etymological research originally grew in the philological tradition, much current etymological research is done on language families where little or no early documentation is available, such as Uralic and Austronesian. So, the word etymology derives from the Greek word etymologia, okay, itself from etymon, meaning true sense or sense of a truth, and the suffix denoting the study of. So that means the study of the language of words. The term etymon refers to a word morpheme, okay, or root from which a latter word or morpheme derives. For example, the Latin word candidus, which means white, which is the etymon of English candide. Relationships are often less transparent. However, English place names such as Winchester, Gloucester, Todcaster share in different modern forms a suffix etymon that was once full Latin castrum port. So the methods etymologists apply a number of methods to study the origins of words, some of which are: first, the philological research. Changes in the form and the meaning of the word can be traced with the aid of the older texts in such are available. Second, making use of the dialectology data. The form or meaning of the word might show variations between dialects, which may yield clues to us earlier history. The third one, the comparative method. By a systematic comparison or related languages, etymologists may often be able to detect which words derive from their common ancestor language and which were instead later borrowed from another language. The study of change, etymologists must often make hypotheses about changes in the meaning of particular words. Such hypotheses are tested against the general knowledge of semantic shift. For example, The assumption of a particular change of meaning may be substantiated by the showing the same type of change has occurred in languages as well. Okay, so we have here the types of origins or the loan words. Etymological theory recognizes that words originated through a limited number of basic mechanisms, the most important of which are language change, borrowing, the adoption, or loan words. They are borrowed words, okay, from another language. Words formation such as derivation and compounding are onomatopoeia and sound symbolism, the creation of imitative words such as click, grunt. All right, while the origin of the newly emerged words often more or less transparent, it tends to become obscured through the time to sound change or semantic change. Due to the sound change, it is not readily obvious that English word set is related to the word sit, means the former or originally a constitutive formation of the latter. It is even less obvious that bless is related to blood. The former was originally a derivative with the meaning to mark with the blood. Semantic change may also occur. For example, the English word bid originally meant prayer. Okay, so like bid. It acquired its modern meaning through the practice of the counting of the recitation prayers using the beads. You know, when in your religion, in Buddhism, when they are praying, they are counting the beads. I don't know if it is if you're practicing it or Catholicism. I think for the Catholics, for the Roman Catholics, when they're praying, they're holding the rosary, and that rosary is having the bead. That's the small round one, and they're holding it. That's the number of times that they are praying. Okay. Words. English has proved accommodating to words from many languages. Scientific terminology, for example, relies heavily on words of Latin and Greek origin, but there are a great many non-scientific examples. Spanish has contributed many words, particularly in the southwestern United States. Example includes bacaro, that means bacaro, alligator, rodeo, save, states, names such as Colorado and Florida, albino, palaver, lingo, veranda, and coconut from Portuguese. Prima donna from Italian. Modern French has contributed the word cafe. Oh, the word cafe is from French. Cinema, naive, nicotine, and many more. So these are borrowed words. Why am I sharing to applications? Can you guys see my screen right now? Can you see what I was presenting earlier? It says I am sharing two screens. Milky, did you see what I was presented?
Teacher, I think you lost some time. The internet is yes.
So it's okay now?
Yes. Okay, I can
Oh.
see just right now.
So earlier you didn't see anything?
Yes, a little bit, teacher. Because you lost.
I'm so sorry for that. If something happens like that, you have to tell me, okay? So I can refresh or do something. Okay, so these are the assimilation of words that I mentioned earlier, the borrowed words from foreign countries or from other countries. We have here the words from Spain or from Spanish people include Bacaru, alligator, rodeo, savvy, and states, and names such as Colorado and Florida. Okay, from the Portuguese, we borrowed the word albino, palaver, lingo, veranda, and coconut from Portuguese. And in Italian, we have the diva and prima donna. And for French, they have contributed the word cafe, cinema, naive, nicotine, and many more. Okay, so there are many words we just borrowed because some of it we already discussed during the history of English. Okay, so just take a look at this. There are many words. Okay, so from Swedish, Shalom, Ombudsman, Danish, Sauna, Finnish, a lot. Borrowed words from different countries. Okay, let's just continue to this one. What's in the word? The word histories and origins. Word stories. Every word has a biography, like a person. A word's biography includes where it was born, how it grew and changed, and the influences that made is what it is today. That is the stories of word. Etymology, the study of words, biography of a word. Geology is the study of the earth. Biology is the study of life. Psychology is the study of thinking and the brain. So when I ask you what is the study of words and biography of a word, the answer is etymology. Okay. Calculate. The Romans did not have calculators. They have used pebbles as counters. The Latin word for pebble was calculus. That's how the word calculate came from. Okay. They were using pebbles, the small stones, to count. So the pebble is called calculus. Next word is the cantaloupe. After the name of a former papal villa near the Rome. It was the Pope, where the melons were first grown in Europe, where the cantaloupe came from. Okay, cantaloupe. Next is the cheddar. The cheddar, a village in Somerset, England, where the cheese was first made. Okay, that's where the word cheddar came from. Next, abracadabra. This is very famous. When you're doing some, what is this? Witchcraft. Was saying abracadabra, like that. So if you look at this, what is here? So this word was used to ward off trouble or disease, like in the old times. It was once worn on an amulet in which the letters were arranged in an inverted pyramid. One less letter appeared in each line of the pyramid until only one remained to form the vertex of the triangle. As the letters disappeared, so did the disease or trouble. Okay, this is the superstitious belief. So if you look at this one, abracadabra. So again, you have to make it inverted pyramid until one letter is left here in the bottom. Okay, so continue. Alphabet. Our modern alphabet came from the Greeks. The word alphabet was made by joining the first two Greek letters, alpha and beta. Okay, so the word alphabet came from Greek letters, alpha and alphabet. Next, the word is America. Amerigo Vespucci went to sea with Columbus as a map maker. Seeing Amerigo's maps of the new continent, people began calling it America. Okay, does it make sense to you? It's from Amerigo Vespucci, the word America. And sandwich. This is very familiar to you guys. The fourth Earl of Sandwich in England was sometimes so busy that he refused to get up, even to eat a meal. It is said that around the year 1765, he asked his servants to bring him his meat by placing it between two pieces of bread. Soon others began to order the same as sandwich, Earl of Sandwich. Okay, that is the fourth Earl of Sandwich. That's the word sandwich came from. Okay, continue. Breakfast. One of the meanings of the word fast is to eat nothing for a period of time. In the morning, we break the fast. That's the word breakfast. Break the fast. Because in the night, you were not eating anything. So that means to break that long fasting, that's it called breakfast. Oh, it's trivia. You should learn this word, okay? Breakfast. Next word, we have cereal, okay? Ceres was the Roman goddess of grain, and it's from her name that we got the word cereal. The word cereal just didn't pop up. It has an origin. Why we are calling it cereal nowadays. Next, we have the word bus. The word is an abbreviation of omnibus, Latin for everybody's vehicle. That's the what is this? Bus is just the short form from the word omnibus. So it's a Latin for everybody's vehicle. Next, the word chocolate. Wow. In 1519, Hernan Cortes, a Spanish explorer, invaded Mexico. He found that the Aztecs drank a fruity, bitter drink they called chocolate, made from the cocoa beans. So then later on, he called it chocolate. Okay, from chocolate, from the Spanish word chocolate. Next, we have the dandelion. In France, this weed with a yellow flower was called dandelion. That means lion's tooth, referring to the sharp leaves of the plant, in English, dandelion, involved into dandelion. Now you know. Okay, so lion's tooth, because the leaves is very sharp, like the tooth or the teeth in lion. Next word, England and English. In 580, two German tribes, the Angles and Saxons, invaded England. The language spoken by the Angles evolved into the English we speak today. In the beginning, the Angli. As time went by, their name changed to the Angle. The place where they lived was called England, and the language they spoke was English, where is now English. So that's how the England and English came from. Okay. Next word, shampoo. Okay, so that's what we're using every day to our hair. Shampoo from the Indian word champu, meaning massage the scalp. That's the meaning of the word shampoo, where we are using this word like nowadays. Next word is sofa. Sofa originally referred to a fancy cushion on a camel saddle. So if you have seen a camel, the back of the camel there is a saddle. So that is called sofa. That's the word sofa came from the word like the soft sofa set inside your home. That is sofa. Next word, Louisiana. So named in 1682 after King Louis of France died. So this is the word Louisiana. Next, umbrella. From the Roman word umbraculum, meaning shady place. Umbrella. Okay, next word. So we have how are words born? How did they come up with these words? So first, from other languages. Second, influenced by names of people and places. Third, sound like phrases or words. And the fourth one, combining phrases, letters, or words. So this is how the words are born. Okay, so new words are born every day. Words added in the recent years. We have the word email. Okay, emoticon, mob, tweet, ringtone, jeggings, cyberbullying. Okay, so these are the new words. So if you want to find more words about the etymology or the histories of words, you can check in your dictionary, you can check your online websites, and you can find books on etymology. So that is our lessons for the accents and etymology. Now we are going to have a short quiz. Okay. Do you have a question, students? Is everything clear? Questions? Reactions? Do you want to share something? Do you want to add more?
I think no question, teacher.
No question. Okay, then I have something. Okay, I hope you guys are not sleeping. Okay. I know you're also bored in studying this much time, but fighting. Okay. Please, everyone, you go to the classwork and I will give you the activities for today. Wait now. We will have a quiz. Okay, so it's in your Google Classroom account. You open the Google Classroom. I have here the Google form for the word, accents, and origins activities today. This is week 3. Word, origins, and accents. So all you have to do is you're going to find the origin of the word, where the word originated from. Okay, with what country or From where did we borrow that word? The English word that we are using today. English words and accents. Okay, let me just finish this. My due date is until is today. Spike. Okay, please access the classwork. The title is Word Origins and Accents, Week 3. For chapter 1B, at least before midterm, okay? Because I know that is a lot. So at least you have to submit it for midterm test. You can just do it slowly in your spare time. Okay, though in that Google Form, students, I have the words, the borrowed words, or the words that we just loan from other countries. So I want you to search for those words, and you are going to write the origins, where the words came from, the etymology of the word. Okay. Sorry for the interruption. May I know who is the class leader? Class
Tay is the
leader.
class leader, teacher. Tay,
Sorry?
teacher. Tay,
Tay.
teacher.
Oh.
Tay.
Number 19, correct?
Yes, yes.
All right. Thank you so much. Class, the time is 5 minutes to 5. So to give you a favor, I will give an extension for this quizzes for you to finish. I can wait until midnight today. Is that okay?
Thank you, teacher. Thank you a lot.
All right. Because I know some of you might, it's quite a lot. So I'm not gonna take so much of your time. It's time for you to rest, to take a rest. So I will set the, what do you call this? the submission date, which is until midnight of today. Okay? All right, so I will check for your exit attendance. I will check it based on your submission of today's work. Okay, my dear students, so take your time, take rest, eat something, and just be safe. Okay, see you everyone. Take care.
Thank you, teacher. Take care.
Goodbye. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye, guys.